Welcome back to another episode of OffPitch Podcast, and today tuko na a very interesting conversation about hockey and entrepreneurship. And first of all, before we start our conversation, we've realized that we have 80 to 90% of people who have not subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please, if you see this podcast, kindly we request you to actually follow, share, and subscribe to our new episode, so that at least you tell us who you want to be our next guest. Welcome to our OffPitch Podcast, and follow for more episode. Thank you. Before we start this segment, it's been a minute, and today I have my co-host Bradley Kipto, aka Mkale. Welcome back to this segment. Hebu jiintroduce na tuambie who you are.
I'm Mkale, famously known as Mkale, but my name is Bradley Kipto. Today we are here with a very interesting guest whom we are hosting today at OffPitch Africa, and we are very glad that he accepted our
invitation.
Our invitation.
Yeah. Unaonaje hiyo kinakupelekaje now that you've been on and off, and you're actually one of the biggest people in your team that team yako ina depend on you in terms of now productivity?
For me, I always enjoy the game. I enjoy training sessions, like naichukulia kama ni part time, so mi ukam ku have fun. So any day mi enjoy nikifunga, nikipeana assist, nini. In as much as maybe ina happen ukilose game, but all in all tu mejienjoy. Maybe tumelose game, but niko na moments zangu kwa match.
Do you think this election is going to change a lot of things, because now we are heading into the electoral process now, and ukiangalia a lot of people wanataka change in terms of leadership. Do you think those people who are going to be elected are going to champion in terms of change?
Tumeona hizi elections vile zina happen, bado kuna wase bado tuna recycle. So if we are recycling people, then that means that the change is not going to be there like that much. So we are not expecting anything new unless they surprise us.
Now, this whole conversation is going to lead us into that phase. But before we start, I want us to introduce our guest, so that at least tukue tunajua tunaongea na nani. Didge, karibu.
Asanteni. It's good to be finally here. It's been long. Been planning for quite some time, and I'm happy to finally be here. So asanteni kwa kunikaribisha.
Karibu sana. I'm so sure this is not the first time that we've met, and wewe ni mtu tumekuwa nawe for the longest period of time possible, and I've seen you grow. I've seen you grow in terms of now from being a player, and now you're doing a lot of things. Hebu introduce na utuambie who you are and what you're currently doing.
Okay, my official name is Ndung'u Njogu, popularly known as Didge. That's the name many people know, but at the moment Didge is becoming bigger than I am. When it comes to hockey, I've gone the whole cycle, because I started as a player. I've been an umpire, I've been a coach, and obviously a spectator of the game.
Through the whole process of now playing hockey, and understand the journey and the process and all that, to understand you've gone through a lot of things, and unaweza tuambia too in short your journey in terms of hockey and all that, where it started and where it is right now.
Okay, I first got introduced to hockey in high school. I went to high school in Kiambu, a school called Kanunga. First of all, I grew up in a neighborhood here called Githurai. It's not very far from here. So there was no hockey there. So the first time I saw a hockey stick was when I was being admitted to high school, and that's where I started playing hockey. My school was not a big hockey school. I went to school when Alliance used to dominate. that sport, especially in that region. So it was not a big sport. So after school, I trained a bit with Kenya Police. Then I was a founding member of the KCA hockey team, which is known as Wazito. We played for some time. I think we were the first team. We went to the league, national league, got promoted in the first season. At that time I was in uni. I was doing Bachelor's of Commerce at JCOT. So when I finished, I left and I got a job away from Nairobi. So for some time I stayed away from hockey. At one point we played up country. I was living in Meru, so I interacted with hockey in that region. At one point I was training, coaching, and playing for Kemu. Then after that I came back to KCA. At one point I was the team manager, and at that time I felt also I had outgrown the team. Moved to Thika Rovers as a player. I helped in coaching a bit. Then I also felt I had outgrown the team, so I went to Wazalendo Hockey as a player, and at one point I became the team manager, and finally in 2022 I was an interim head coach for the club. That means I was holding fort until the club could get a suitable replacement for the coach. So when they finally got a replacement, I took a break, then went to coaching again, because I think I'm very passionate about coaching and development. So that's how I ended up coaching at JCOT from 2023-2024. And in 2025 I've taken a break again to focus on other things. In that process, around 2023, that's when I started a brand. I started conceiving an idea about how, as a country, as a people, we can have our own brand. We can have our own products that are curated to our own needs, our own ideas, and our own prices. I hope I've not gone out.
I think I've known you not today, but I've known you for the longest time, for the longest period possible, and I've seen your journey. You've talked about Kemu.
Yes.
Yeah, the last time nilikujua what is Kemu, all those
So many years ago.
yeah.
When we came
And
to meet you guys.
I'm just it's okay. We'll talk about that. I'm just pigwa na Kemu.
We
Before
won the KU tournament here as
Kemu, that was around 2013. But before that, I've seen you've been in hockey for the longest period possible, and the way you've been carrying yourself in terms of now as a player, and now you've talked about coaching, and now you've moved into branding and marketing in terms of now equipping or facilitating the equipment in terms of hockey. What made you transfer from playing, coaching into now marketing?
I've always tried to be a student of the game and also a student of life, and I've always tried to keep reinventing myself as a person. That's why when I felt like I'm not contributing much as a player, I tried to move into other areas of the game. That's when I started umpiring. I've always been very passionate about coaching, because even in high school, in my own limited knowledge, I used to share information. At one time I was team manager for the school team football, so I've always been passionate about coaching. So in the cycle of coaching, of umpiring, I also got into to learn more about coaching, and that's how I ended up as a coach. Having gone through the cycle, you also realize the challenge of equipment, the challenge of, even as an umpire, the sports equipment is very expensive, because most of it is imported. So most of it has what I would call European prices. So I always felt we needed to have a brand that can cater to our needs, to our prices basically, and can we can also use our own talent to produce and develop products.
That's nice. And
Have I answered you? Maybe I'm going around circles.
You've actually answered my question, but let alone going into the circles. But at least the view, whoever is going to view this and understand the way there's a the transition in terms of being a hockey player into coaching,
to a TM
now say you go into
branding
and marketing now, selling the product. Now ukiangalia most of the players always understand the concept about being a player into the whole transition into branding and marketing, because ukiangalia these three areas ni totally different. Being a player, being a coach, na sahi ukiangalia now you're into marketing. Those are different phases.
Yes.
Hebu tuambie how your own experience being a player now into coaching, because I'm so sure you have the FIH certificates, and now into marketing. What made you leave coaching? Because I'm so sure most of the people, or leave alone most of the players, wanataka kuacha kucheza, move into coaching. But for you move into those stages, coaching, player coaching, now into branding.
Ana Didge pia ukitupatia hiyo insight pia unaweza tuambia maybe what do you into hockey, ukikam hivyo ukapata hii experience ya hockey. You obvious umesema ulianza ka player before come into hii branding na kila kitu so unaweza tuambia maybe what inspired you into being a hockey player, and ukakam bado udai kulive, umeacha kucheza but udai kuiacha, umeamua umekuwa TM, umekuwa coach, umekuwa spectator, umekuwa fan, bado pia umekamsa umekuwa ku brand.
So as I said, I first played hockey in high school. Of course I fell in love with the game, and it has also saved me a lot. I think if I didn't play hockey, the neighborhood where I grew up in, I think hockey really saved me from a lot, because the busy weekends, the busy training schedules, it got me, it saved me from a lot of idle time. So of course, I said when we won the league as KCA, I got a job away from Nairobi, so I couldn't, for some time, for 3-4 years, I couldn't play the game competitively. Okay, so when I went there, because I as I said, I fell in love with the game. I always felt I needed to transit and to stay in the game. So that's when I started umpiring and a bit of coaching. When I came back, I tried to play a bit, but as you play hockey, you will realize most of your friends are hockey players. Most of your life is mostly
rotating around
hockey.
Okay, oh yeah, exactly.
Yes. So that's as I said, in high school I was very passionate about coaching. So when I felt I was not contributing much as a player, because I'm a person who's very self-aware, can feel like this period I'm not very efficient. So that's when I started taking coaching seriously, attending these courses, so that I'm a professional. I can also get more knowledge and become a bit more professional. Have I answered you?
Yes, and you are FIH-certified.
Yes, I'm FIH-certified.
No, through all those processes, kuna different challenges that we human beings we always go through. Leave alone as a hockey player, but as a person,
yes.
I'm sure you've gone through different challenges. What are the life lessons and the challenges that you've gone through all that process?
Sports is challenging. Sports gives you life lessons that you might not meet out here. The hard work, the process, the preparation for matches, the execution during matches, the post review or the post match experience. Sometimes the process ends up with a win, sometimes the process ends up in a loss. There are so many lessons that you learn in sports, especially team sports, how to be a member of a team, how to know when you're a junior player, how to, as you experience the game more, how you can help the younger ones come up. So really, I cannot say it's one lesson, but there are so many lessons that I've learned from playing, and it's very important that I went to umpiring after playing, because when you see the game in the eyes of a player and in the eyes of an umpire, and now the eyes of a coach, is very different.
I believe those are two different stages. Being a player and being a coach, those are two different stages. And I'm so sure kuna zile challenges umepitia as a player. Now the challenges are totally different as being a coach, because these are two different levels. Being a player, you understand players in different levels, and being a coach, you understand players now. Those players who are playing for your team, you understand them differently. Yeah, I'm so sure you've gone through different challenges. Unaweza tuambia the challenges that you've gone through in between the two stages.
And which one is harder, like being a player or being a coach?
They're both hard. They're both hard. I wouldn't want to take away the effort that is required in both. First of all, as a player and as a young player, my main challenges were equipment. Hockey is an expensive sport. To acquire hockey stick, to acquire good shoe, to acquire good
shin guards, arm guard
is an expensive sport. As a player, also you also see the game in a very selfish way. I would say sometimes you don't look at the bigger picture. You're only looking at things like game time. Did I score? Did I give an assist? Did you see that tackle? Is very selfish, especially when you're starting. You're more concerned about your game time. And now, when you transition to a coach, it's more of the bigger picture now. Getting the combinations right, getting the development right. Also giving people a chance. Sometimes senior players, they feel they need to play more. Giving people a bit of chance so that, and keeping the team together. So it's different experience, and I wouldn't say one is easier than the other. Yes.
It was about challenges zinakuja depending na situation.
Yes.
Now that tumeona transit into those different levels now, and now you're one of the biggest. I'm so sure you're one of the biggest brands. The hockey zenye actually sell. They're actually selling the brand now. They live around the brand now. You're actually selling the equipments. Hockey stick. You have the hockey sticks. You have the shin pads. You have the
knuckle guards, bag.
What made you to now start your own brand about the selling the equipments? The brand all about the Didge.
As I said, okay, for listeners who don't know, I'm also a founder of Didge Sports. At Didge Sports, we view ourselves as an African sports brand that inspires athletes and human beings to pursue passion through fueling their ambition, their performance, and also purpose. The conception of the idea of Didge Sports is from my experience in sports. I know how hard it has been to access equipment. We've always relied on second-hand
Equipment.
items, especially when it comes to clothing, shoes. And I felt that if we had our own brand here in Africa, not just in Kenya, because we see ourselves in a bigger picture,
True.
we can use our own people to develop products. We can have items that are tailored for our hockey needs, our sports needs, because we have now even gone beyond hockey with our own friendly prices. So for starters, when I was coaching at JCOT, I had a big challenge getting a coaching board. Actually, there was none available, and I looked everywhere. The only coaching boards I could get, I had to import maybe from Europe, very expensive, like 10,000-15,000. And now, because at that time I was also trying to build my own personal brand as a coach, as a person. So I realized maybe I can add products to this brand and make these things available here in Kenya. And that was our first product. We brought in coaching boards, which I think has helped many coaches to illustrate. And from then on, we've gone on to register the company. We've gone on to add into our catalog. At the moment, I think we have over 30 products, 30 different products, mostly in hockey, because that's where we started. But we are also expanding to other sports because ours is a holistic sports brand. So basically to help in inclusivity in sports, because there are a lot of people here who shy away from sports because of cost. We are in our philosophy also, affordability is very important. We have also tried to do education and empowerment. That's why you'll see our brand mostly involved in especially junior clinics for academies and communities that support junior sports. It could be basketball, it could be football and hockey at the moment. Yeah, basically that's the vision. Yes.
One thing, I always believe starting a brand is something that's equal a lot of challenges and with the different outcomes. And I'm so sure you've gone through different challenges, leave alone starting the brand itself. Thinking about starting the brand, about Didge and equipping yourself in terms of now I've seen you sell equipping you've equipped yourself with the hockey sticks, shin pads, and you've talked about you I'll focus on hockey peke yake. You want to diversify from hockey into different other sports, and I'm so sure whoever is going to watch this episode I understand one thing: there's a lot that can be done in terms of hockey and entertainment. What made you start your own brand?
Basically that desire to be able to contribute to sports in Kenya and in Africa by extension. As I said, our brand mostly is about inspiring people. It's not just only selling products, but also inspiring people to pursue, because for me sports has been important. So to inspire people because we believe everybody has that fire inside them, and that's why we say ignite that passion, that fire inside you to pursue. When we started it was sports, but I realized as we go, even there are DJs who feel comfortable when they wear our merchandise because they're pursuing their own passion. But the inspiration was to be able to make equipment available in our own small ways. Of course, at the moment we might not be the biggest, we might not be able to provide everything in sports, but in our own small ways to be able to provide this equipment, to make sure it's available, it's locally available. Because as I told you, my challenge about just getting a coaching board, where now I have to import one from Europe, it means there was an opportunity there, but also not just a business opportunity, but an opportunity for us to contribute. Yes.
I've also, like in hockey, you've mentioned that you realized some gaps, and so you decided you can fill those gaps in your own way.
Yes.
Like you can ignite your passion, and while igniting your passion you can fill those gaps. I've also seen you like do good in also basketball. Like what are these gaps you saw in basketball that inspired you to go into to venture into basketball too?
Okay, for us, as we said, in our philosophy, is something about empowerment, inclusivity, and education. So in basketball, mostly we've partnered with junior. There's an organization called Junior Ballers, which is an organization giving a chance to players under the age of 19, because in that area the focus has mostly been on league players and senior players. So we've partnered with them, where we have tournaments during holidays. We are just a partner, but it's a different organization. So we felt their vision aligns with why we exist. So we have also gone into a bit of football, but as I said, we are more focused on the development side. I think that's once you are a coach, that's the focus.
I believe in sports kuna na different gaps.
Yes.
In terms of now, in terms of transition, and I've seen you transiting from now being a player to a coach, now into business. As now you're marketing you're actually marketing your own brand. Can you tell us the challenges that you went through? At least whoever is going to watch this to understand how people received your brand as a person, because these are actually three different areas in terms of now transition.
Yes.
Now you're actually into marketing. How did people receive your brand?
It's been a tough journey, to be honest, because we in our vision we wanted to have our own organization, as opposed to maybe trying to just buy products and sell them from other brands, so that we can tailor our products to meet the needs that
Required.
to the gaps. So obviously, when it started, not many people knew our brand. Of course, maybe people knew me as a person, but now you have a hockey stick. Now it's Didge. That's very different. So we started in 2023, and building the brand has not been easy, but we've slowly we've seen people embrace it. We've seen people understand our vision. We've seen people participate in developing our own products and understanding the vision and wanting to be part of the vision, so which is very, very encouraging. How we overcame the challenge is because our vision has always been long term. We were not, as I said, we are not just trying to flip coins, buy sticks and sell. We are thinking long term, 5-10 years, how we can transition to an organization that actually makes genuine contribution to sports, not just in Kenya but in Africa.
Already.
Yes.
What was your first product in this journey, and how did people receive it?
Our first product was a coaching board. As I've mentioned, in our philosophy we have about affordability. We try to develop a product that was affordable to our people. Of course, when it means when you're trying to develop something affordable, there are some aspects you have to lose that you don't deem fit. So not the best product, but the functionality and how it has helped. Normally I go to high schools and I see coaches using our coaching boards. That means our contribution to the sport has had its impact.
Okay.
As we move on, we've also wanted to have quality products, because we don't want you to just buy from us because we are from Kenya or because we have a philosophy. We want people to have access to the best quality possible, and at the same time balancing between quality and because in Africa it's very key. It's very key that the prices are affordable, so that the game or the accessibility to your products becomes all inclusive. Yes, a bit inclusive.
There's one thing I always understand in terms of design and marketing and identity. When you look at your brand, there's something. When you look at this brand, there's something that people can really understand. As an African, this is the identity. Can you tell us about? Can you please talk about the identity of the logo, so that at least whoever is watching this can understand the African way of the logo?
If you've seen our coaching board or our earlier products, the products used to have number 13 in the middle. Because the brand started as a personal brand. Jersey number 13 was my favorite jersey. I wore it in every team I played in. So as we grew, we noticed, as I said, our vision is to inspire people to pursue passion. The symbol of passion is fire, and we tried as much as possible see how we can incorporate the vision into the brand visuals, and that's when we came up with the fire.
Ignite,
Yes, as we were designing the fire, we really wanted something that you can draw by hand. We did not want a complicated. Actually, that thing I drew by hand. In a book, I drew it, and then somebody else helped me put it on Adobe. Yeah, but we wanted a simple brand, an identifiable brand. Of course, when we started, nobody knew this, but I can confidently say now, if you see
the fire
without even a name, you know, you'll identify the brand. Yes.
I believe one thing I believe as a designer, is something that people always understand me as a brand. The word ignite really means a lot, and the logo itself, because the fire really means a lot. To ignite in, I mean, something is burning.
Yes.
And the logo itself, it really means the passion. And to ignite in happening, the way the fire and the way the fire is actually lighting to show that this is a continuation of something.
Yes.
Unaweza tuambia how you can put your product into market and how you can sustain yourself so that at least product is sustainable for the future.
For our brand or somebody who's starting?
For your own brand.
Can you repeat the last question?
We talked about the brand itself, and igniting means there's something that is burning inside.
Yes.
We talked about your brand, the way the logo itself is. And logo in a talk about a lot of things. The fire, the way the fire is. Unaweza tuambia how you're going to put yourself into the market so that at least we're visible in the long run?
Branding, according to I think Homozi, somebody called Homozi, is mostly what you pair with your the things you pair with your brand
and visibility.
Yes, it's like when you see Nike, they pair with somebody like LeBron. It shows because Nike, they also sell motivation that you can do it, but to continually partner and pair with people who live that mantra, just do it.
You're living within the margin.
Yes, if you've been watching us and you look at the players and the teams that we partner with, we are very I'd say particular about the people we partner with, the people who live that vision, people who have fire in them, people who can inspire others to also light that fire in them. Yes. So in the long term, branding is for our brand is to continually partner with people who live the vision, and we believe the fire will keep spreading.
We've also seen you in basketball, I've seen you in hockey, and I've also seen you in like having like I've seen guys in the gym with gym equipments, labeled Didge. Like, is your brand locally manufactured? Like, this is what also fans like want to know. Like, is Didge locally manufactured? And if it's locally manufactured or wherever it's manufactured, what's the long-term production vision that you have for the brand?
We would have wanted to have everything manufactured in Kenya, and we hope in the long run we can have that is within our vision. Whatever can be produced here, we do it. Like merchandise branding, we always try to source locally. The challenge with production in Africa, and particularly in Kenya, is the industrial ecosystem. When you go to, because most hockey sticks come from Pakistan, a city called Sialkot, they have an ecosystem that if you buy, if you're making a hockey stick, there is a company making the mold. There's a company just making this strap.
The straps,
There's a company just making this cup. There's somebody branding. If you're to do it in Kenya, it means you have to do everything by yourself. And if you've studied economics like me, there's somebody called Adam Smith. When he talked about specialization, which makes you a bit more efficient. So I've seen other brands in Kenya and in Africa, and I hope with time maybe we can be able to create that ecosystem where it becomes a bit more friendly to produce here. If we were to do it by ourselves, it means the hockey stick will be very, very expensive, and we will lose on affordability. So what I'm saying is, the things that we can produce here locally, we've done it. But for things that do not make sense to do them here, for now, we are importing. So most of the hockey equipment we get from Sialkot in Pakistan. But the designs we do ourselves. Like this design was designed by Suk, by the way, for this stick. So whatever we can do locally, we try and engage the local talent. But whatever that does not make business sense to produce here, we import at the moment.
One thing niko very amazed ni you've actually decided to work with your own friends and probably local players who are actually in the league. And I've seen the trend in terms of now the way the product is actually moving. And one thing naweza kuuliza, unaweza tuambia nini in terms of now the current league, because we've talked about the equipment and the way the equipment is actually selling and trying to find a niche in terms of now improving the product into the league.
Yes.
Can you tell us in brief how the league is actually progressing in terms of hockey?
In my honest opinion, I think our hockey standards have fallen. I also have to give credit that there's an increase in number of teams. So hockey has been well spread out now. I think we have 76 teams now. I think it's around
across the competitions.
Yes,
across the leagues.
Yeah, and they are spread out in the country, but I feel like our standards have fallen. Sometimes it's easy to sit and say it's because of the union, but for me, I always feel it is three faces. It is the players, the clubs, and now the union. The players, in terms of, I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know how many players have any training routine outside their teams. So these standards, because I've been in a while in this scene. Yeah. I've seen players who come very talented, then within 1 or 2 years
they leave the stage.
Yes, they leave the stage. Yeah. Somebody might have played in the national team like 2-3 years ago, but even now he can't make it to Kale's team because he has not taken care of himself as a person. So in that stage, players have to take good care of themselves. They have to do proper nutrition and do proper training for us to improve our standards. Now we go to teams and clubs. I feel, and this is just my honest opinion, our training standards around the country are not the best.
They're actually depreciating.
Yes, and if you go to even a Premier League training session, Premier League side training session, sometimes people just arrive, no warm up, no nothing, just shuffle sticks, we play. If I start now talking about the other level of KHU,
professionalism,
I'll now need more time.
mimi sina lawyer, so kile utaongea mimi sijui nitajitetea wapi. Now you talked about something so amazing, and you umesema the way hockey league depreciating instead of upgrading. And recently, mimi I'm a believer in terms of progress, and I've been the face of hockey, and nimeona the way hockey is actually depreciating, and we actually there's lack of accountability and proper infrastructure and strategy in terms of now marketing the sport itself.
Yes.
Ni move to away from hockey kidogo, ni to at least tupate insight in terms of now progress. I've worked with different people not only in hockey but acha tu a bit flexible. Tuseme tu ball. Recently we've seen Aden Kibet. You know, it's so hard kufika your level as a Kenyan player. Youth level on Kenyan player, as a Kenyan youth player who wants to progress into different levels. And ukiangalia in terms of hockey, we've had players who have played in different leagues, not only locally, but players wenye wamecheza nje. Now we always find it hard player kubaki nje na kusustain themselves as a hockey player, as a Kenyan hockey player. Unapata wanacheza for short period, it's actually a short course, wanarudi. Na ukiangalia ball, I'm so sure ukiname players walienda kucheza majuu na wakabaki nje in terms of ball ni wengi. Na ukirudi ukikuwa na hiyo comparison in terms of hockey, hata I'm so sure you will lack even a single player mwenye anacheza professional nje.
Okay, hockey. The way hockey is in the world is not. Football is a big game. Football, basketball those are big games.
Maybe I believe hockey is also a big game because hockey to call Olympics.
It's top four most watched sport. Hockey, no doubt about it. But in terms of the money and the structures, a Bundesliga player in football and a Bundesliga player in hockey are not the same, for starters. And again, I feel Kenya, as our standards have gone down, we also not a very big hockey country, to be honest, in my opinion.
Do you think you're not a big country in terms of hockey because hockey,
because of our players or because of the union?
Because hockey ilikuwa Kenya ilikuwa inacheza Olympics, but the world has moved and we have stagnated. Let me give you an example of our peers, like Nigeria. They have around 6 astroturfs. Ghana, I think they have 2 or 3. Hockey is very particular about surface. Most of us we get introduced to the surface late, because in Europe, people from high school, college, they play on the same surface. So if you are going to compete for spaces with them in those clubs, that's why I said we are not a big country, because maybe Kale plays 5-10 years on Maram, somebody who's played on AstroTurf for a long time, and that's where now the union comes in. If we can get more standard surfaces, it means our development is going to increase.
Yes, and we are going to be the standard of development. Even now, when you look at kids who've gone through the development at City Park, there's always a bit of difference. There's a bit of their foundation is
different.
Yes, it's different. Yes.
Now, in terms of development, now this is according to my own perspective.
Yes.
The way you've talked about the way the world is changing, and the way you're progressing. you find that the more you progress, the more you lack facilities, and another way, the way you progress, the more you have more people coming into the sport. Do you think you're going to have a lot of stagnation in terms of the way you're moving?
Yes. Then again, can I go back to my philosophy? I believe it's three phases: players, clubs, and union. I've seen places like South Africa where hockey is not professional, but players at a very individual level are able to attract resources because of the way they have built their own personal brands. Where you look when you look in at Kenya, that is because I believe for hockey to grow, we need resources. Every time a team has been sponsored in Kenya, it has gone on to be very dominant. You can see like Telkom as a sponsor team. Even when Chase came in and they had resources, they quickly came from National League to
Premier League
to Premier League. I've been a member of self-sponsored teams, and I can tell you, in the history I know in Kenya, hockey has never been won by a self-sponsored team, a team that doesn't have a sponsor. So it is very important that we can be able to attract resources into the game. That is one. Now we have that's when I say there are 3 levels of attracting resources. One is personal brands, where people are sponsored as individuals because of the way they've created their own personal brands, the way they put themselves out there. I've seen, like in South Africa, most of the players, because in South Africa hockey is not professional, they get very good sponsorships from hockey brands. Others are ambassadors to certain causes because of the way so you can now play for free, but you get paid through your personal brand, which is built on hockey. Okay,
and it's through contract based agreement.
Yes, but it also comes from how you brand yourself as a player, whether it's social media, the courses that you're involved in. Okay, and now we go to clubs. Clubs should also be able to attract resources by the way they brand themselves. Like I'm always trying to learn and look at clubs in other countries. What do they do? Their social media is very active, because when a sponsor comes, what is he looking for? He's looking for numbers, visibility, exactly. That reach,
the niche.
Yes, but now in Kenya, clubs in that area,
they're not actually working together to actually get that.
Yes, if you go to a club page, mostly you'll just see fixtures, results,
and games,
and birthday.
Exactly.
And birthday. There's no content
And
on
signings.
On maybe a game, short clips on a game. There are no, you cannot, if you're not in Kenya, you cannot know this team, did they finish number last? Were they number 1? What are their achievements? We have fallen short of selling ourselves. By selling ourselves, it means we can also attract other partners who can now support us in our journey.
In terms of now visibility and marketing.
Yes, because I have players who tell me they want to be Didge ambassador. But when you look at maybe the way they've packaged them on social media, they have like one meme in 2021 and maybe one picture in 2022. But if you look at pros who are able to attract resources, they're very active.
Consistency.
Consistency on how they brand themselves. Yes.
You know, there's one thing we talked about in terms of now branding and as a player, in terms of branding and visibility, and kuna kitu nimekuja kuunderstand ni we have players, sijui kama ni fear ama ni space or ni luck ama ni marketing, because when you look at you've talked about player branding and marketing. Ukiangalia naweza kupa example ya the elite, the likes of Injera, the likes of Ombachi, the likes of trickle down, the likes of hata ukiangalia mse kama Manyala saizi hiyo ni level hajafika. Like ukiangalia hawa ni wase wame progress from now playing and now their brands.
Yes.
Different, not only one brand, but there are different brands.
Yes, there's people who want to partner with them.
Exactly.
The way they package themselves.
So do you think our area, the area that you're in right now, is it because of fear or to lack space ya kujimarket as players?
It's a space that we have maybe neglected, or maybe we don't know the leverage that it can give you. So because we are very fortunate in this country, we have photographers and videographers who can give you game photos and videos after every game. And even your favorite footballers, they post every day.
Like
they ambassadors of their own
space,
their own craft.
Yes. You don't have to post your personal stuff. People don't need to know where you live or
what you do.
But now as an athlete, you need to be able to sell yourself. And when you keep selling yourself, it is easier to attract resources. it doesn't have to be a Didge or another hockey brand will support you. Sometimes you might be even an ambassador for a cause. Maybe UNICEF wants an ambassador who in hockey. But if we do not build these spaces where we can put ourselves out there as individuals and also as clubs, it will be very difficult to attract resources. And now that extends even to the national team. If you go to the national team social media handles, they're only posting fixtures and results and what Africa Hockey has said.
You've talked about birthdays.
Yes, birthdays. It's not bad. Even the biggest clubs, they post birthdays. But I'm talking about...
They also post training sessions. They post
clips.
when one of their player is crowned as a brand ambassador, they post it.
When you have even small events like you are awarding people, when you're signing new players,
training sessions.
If you're not in Kenya, you look at a page for another team, you might not even know, do they play in the Super League, do they play in the Premier League, what number did they finish last season? Because when I'm coming to that club, I'll scroll down and see what you stand for, who are you.
Events.
So as you start building your own personal brand, and I am a beneficiary of my own personal brand.
True.
I always try to put myself out there. Even when I was a coach at Wazalendo, I did as many interviews as I could. When I was a coach at JQuat. So even when I'm building my own brand, I was not starting from zero. At least there are people
you had a space where...
Yes. So imagine...
There are these guys who knew who is Didge.
Yes. At least you're starting from somewhere. Okay? So it's something I would encourage players, coaches, and clubs to do. And by extension, the national team. Because if a big corporation wanted to support the national team, zero content, zero... Okay, how? Because that company does not benefit from you playing hockey. They only benefit from you giving them that reach.
The reach.
Yes, they don't care whether you play hockey.
You know, one thing I came to understand,
yes.
There's a team, there's the kuna Eastern team was playing, and you know, they will talk about I'm someone who believes in equipping yourself as your own brand, and you've talked about players. Is it si kama watu wanaogopa kujiexpress as an individual, ama wanangoja kupewa something so that wa feel wanaweza jiexpress, because whoever is chasing any brand, one thing I believe or understand is watu wanataka kuangalia visibility.
Yes.
Visibility sells a lot. And ukiangalia our space that we are in right now, most of the people wataki kuwa visible. Sijui visibility wataka wapate in terms of what, because being someone who is branding something, lazima ukwe na niche, reach different people in different areas. Unaweza tuambia how you manage to work these local players, at least wapate the niche and support that you're giving them?
As I said, for the players we're working with, we are trying to impact that knowledge, because as I work with you, I also want you to grow as a person, as a brand. As a brand, we need to move on from just thinking we're just invisible. And as I've said, if you wanted to brand yourself in Kenya, is an easy country. I know other countries. I have friends from other countries who don't get any photos of them playing. But now in Kenya, we have these young people who I work with who can always get me photos every weekend, every game, of people using my equipment. I don't know. I don't understand why players don't look at that as an opportunity. And as I've said, if you don't just focus on... If you look at Omanyala, he might not be getting his endorsements only from athletics. There are different companies who want to work with him
because of visibility.
Yes, on visibility. And some of those companies don't even follow athletics, but when they look at his page, they can see there's
currently like something moving.
Yes.
There's something moving.
There's a reach.
Mm.
If they partner with them, because I told you branding is also about partnering and pairing with the like-minded individuals and institutions. So I would encourage players and clubs to embrace their social media spaces to be able to tell their stories more. Yes.
Now, unaweza tuambia any innovation in terms of now product design or distribution that has made you proud? Because you've actually moved, leave alone moved, you're actually moving yourself from different faces. Now you're there. I believe you're actually one of the biggest brands that actually marketing the hockey products in Kenya right now. Any challenges that you actually faced that you actually any face that you actually proud of yourself as a brand?
Yeah, there are so many. There are so many. Sometimes it's small ones when people order your stuff. But in the recent months, we've also been able to sell across Africa. We've sold a few items to Ghana. We've sold a few items to Uganda, and that means we are actually on track to achieving the things we set out. Obviously, also attracting talent into the organization. We have a few people who've come in. We have a few people who've come in who want to be part of the brand, whether it's in design, whether it's as ambassadors, whether it's to different talents, basically. And that has been a proud milestones for us. Yes.
Didge, looking at the current hockey scene,
Yes.
we've had recent tournaments like the Betitioni, Wazalendo Masters, we were the KU tournament. What's your take on all of this scene that is taking place in the hockey fraternity?
I believe we should play more hockey,
Mhm.
especially for development, for the development ages. I think from 25 below. So that's why I also always encourage players who are in university, play Kusa, play the tournaments, because the more you play, the better you become as a player. So I'm happy to see more tournaments, and I wish the union would allow people to have more hockey being played around the country. I feel in the last few years, and this is a very personal opinion, that there was monopolization of hockey. Like anytime people are trying to come up with a tournament, you could hear words like it's not sanctioned.
By KHU.
No, it's not drugs you're doing. You're playing hockey.
Yeah.
When you walk around here, you'll see people playing soccer. I don't think KFF goes out there to tell them, no, you have to be sanctioned. When you see creators playing versus football, allow people to play hockey because it adds to the general good of the sport.
True.
Yes.
You've talked about something, and I believe sometimes back kuna league tulikuwa tumeanzisha inaitwa alumni league, and hii league ilikuwa natumika kuleta the alumni, tuseme kama JKUAT, KU, UN, USIU, those alumni together, so that at least they empower the younger generation in terms of now the structure and not only the structure but culture itself, because I'm so sure ukienda wewe umekuwa KU in the recent years ulikuwa understand the culture ya KU, ulikuwa sasa una understand the culture ya JKUAT, una understand culture ya USIU, culture ya all hizo institutions. Na ukiangalia saizi hizo cultures zimeenda zikiisha in terms of ziko distinct because hakuna mtu ana empower the younger generation.
Networking.
Even
a lot of networking. I'm doing this course, I'm also meeting these alumni was in this place, he's also doing like he's working in line with the course that I'm doing. You see, I'm networking with this guy, so this means this guy will hold my hand and guide me.
And in my opinion, that was a very, very good idea for mentorship, for networking, as you're saying. It was giving that opportunity to and bridging the gap between the current students and the students and former students who maybe have gone out there they have this experience, they have these networks. So it was a very good, a brilliant idea. So I do not know how it failed, because I believe when I look at JKUAT, I see the same happening in football. They have an alumni team for football and other sports. I don't think the federations or the unions they work hard to kill that. So for me, that was a brilliant idea, and it's something that I would encourage.
There's a lot in terms of now the sport itself, and I'm so sure we'll move into those different stages, and I believe umongele about bringing back the alumni league and probably understand mentoring the younger generation in terms of now the sport itself, and kuweka understand the way the market the job market iko, and kutafuta space in terms of now working, because I believe e-sport, ukicheza e-sport for the longest period possible without chasing career, utafika point uko disappointed, because hiyo ni mimi wana, hiyo ni kitu mimi I'm a good let me say I'm someone who has actually experienced in all those areas, because I believe ukifocus na e-sport without focusing career, utafika mahali ustagnate. And hiyo ni musema, it's one of the biggest disappointment in life as a sportsman, because I've seen, I mean, I've actually seen, and I've actually interacted with the different people wenye wamekuwa sport, na wanakwambia kama unaona hii sport haikulipi, wachana nayo kabisa. Nilikuwa naongea na Joaquin Atudo. Wewe unajua Atudo? Atudo amecheza Harambee for the longest period possible, na alikuwa ananiambia sahi akipata msee mwenye ako well capable in terms of now chasing career, anamwambia wewe wachana na sport kabisa, wewe focus na career. Wewe nini gani, advice gani unaweza ambia msee in terms of now mwenye ako well equipped in terms of sports itself na career?
Is to try and strike a balance. Of course, they say what without play makes Jack a dull ball. All work not play. And sports also gives you an opportunity for that networking, for that mentorship. So, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the bigger picture. Hockey in Kenya is not professional. That is the truth. We have to tell players it's not professional. So it is important that you also pursue a career that can sustain you, because also a sportsman's life is not long. When you get to 35, your ability starts to go down, so you need something that, and most of you think 35 is old, but life is just starting at 35. So it's important that you also, as you play hockey, also pursue a career, to do those courses. And
Didge, how important is fan engagement in building the future of local sports?
Fan engagement is very, very important. As I've said, we need to attract resources. We have to build a community. We have to build a community that extends beyond players. When you look at rugby and the kind of resources they're able to attract, it's because of the spectators they're able to attract. Okay.
Yes.
So for me, like I once asked a friend, when like the union is making the fixture, do they think about the fans? Do we as a sport, have we packaged ourselves in a way that people who do not watch hockey can get the right atmosphere during hockey matches? Because I've gone to rugby matches where a big chunk of people don't even know the rules. They don't even know who's winning, but they've created an environment where people can
relate with the sports,
can have a good time and enjoy the sport as well.
Because we've talked about rugby. The way rugby has actually packaged themselves. Unangalia, there's a connection between leave alone the union, because each and every player right now wana complain about the union, not only hockey, not only rugby, but kuna ina happen hadi rugby, cricket. Sijasikia athlete sana, sijasikia football iko. We interact with so many footballers. Football iko, but ukiangalia now okay. In terms of fan engagement na player association, haijakuwa that much because most of the people actually focusing on the sport itself, but they're actually leaving the fans behind. Because I believe one thing, lazima we interact na your fans so that at least we understand the way hii sport iko. Unaweza tuambia how we can actually easen that space at least to when that kind of moment with the fans.
It has to be deliberate action, deliberate effort in the way we sell the. Like now, if you go to social media, you know, Sevens rugby is coming because it has been put out there. For hockey, the fixtures are sent to team managers. As I've told you, even the communication from the union, for any fan who would want to come and watch hockey, might not get the information and how we sell even those events. Whether it's, I've seen Friday night they've done well. They're able to attract a crowd.
Betty Tioni.
Betty Tioni, they're able to attract, and Sana, they're able to. But I still feel
Tournaments.
But I still feel they are able to attract a hockey crowd. And for us to, because I'd want us to move to a level where we're able to attract people who've not played hockey, who've not interacted with hockey, who can come and have a good time during hockey matches. So it all depends with how you interact with the how you sell yourself. Like I've felt like tennis has done well in the last few years. Every time they have a big tournament, it's out there. Whether you know somebody in tennis or you don't know somebody in tennis, you know there's a certain tournament that's going on. If you know somebody in rugby or you don't know anybody, it's easy to look and know there's this tournament that's coming. If I'm free on that weekend, I'll go and watch. It's the way we package this is important for us to be able to attract a crowd that is beyond just hockey.
And do you think this sport is actually getting enough coverage in terms of now marketing itself in terms through this live coverage and easy live stream spaces?
I honestly think we have not done well when it comes to that public relations stuff.
All sports or hockey alone?
I would say hockey. Basketball has really improved. Rugby has always been up there. Of course, football is a big game, so many people follow football. But right now, you can see the things basketball is doing, especially with teams like Thunder, who have come out and they're branding themselves and they're putting themselves out there. If you go for their match, it's always packed. If you go late, you won't get a ticket.
We even have matatus having Thunder. Yes.
The way they've sold their merchandise.
Yes.
The way they put themselves out there, and that's the challenge I was saying. Clubs need to emulate how you sell yourself, as well as the union, how they market the sport outside the hockey community.
From that also, like for you, Didge, you are like, in as much as you're really marketing your own brand, you're also marketing the sport. Like, how is your relation with the union? Is the union fighting you, or is the union embracing you, or supporting you, like in any way, or do they want some cut from whatever you get? Because I heard sometimes back from some teams, like if we are having some sponsor coming to sponsor our team, then the union will have to get some cut from what the sponsor is giving us. So you'll see some teams saying it's not a sponsorship but a partnership.
I think that's in the constitution. On a very personal level, I've tried to join leadership also. I'm a member of I'm an official for Kiambu Hockey. I've tried to I've tried to go and sit in the KHU council so that I can understand things from their perspective. I know it's easy for us to sit sometimes and blame everything on the union.
Point out.
And it's very important that young people can get into these spaces so that we can, because as as I've mentioned, I think some of the rules are outdated, and if we were to attract people or attract resources, some of those things have to change. But we also need to understand, like the KHU constitution, understand the roles, because like now, if you say the Secretary General for hockey has not done, what are his roles? People, I feel, and that's why I've always tried to avoid these hockey political spaces. And I'm not saying they're not important. They're important to call out the injustices and all. But I want us to view leadership differently. I want us to be able to understand that this is a structured KHU. This is the role of the chairman. This is the role of this is the role of the president. So that you are able to even call out specifically. Take your time, look at the KHU constitution, because like you mentioned, the sponsorship thing is in the constitution, where I think a team getting a sponsorship has to pay like 100,000, or I don't know if it's 20% of the sponsor, whichever is higher. And so that when you want change, you can specifically say, I want change in area A and area B. Otherwise, we might keep complaining, but we are not specific. We do not know exactly what we
So we'll be making noise. We'll not be complaining.
We'll be making noise. So personally, I've taken an initiative, registered in my home county, that's Kiambu, so that I can sit in those spaces. First of all, try to understand what the challenges are. Unaweza kuwa tunasema KHU wanakula pesa, maybe huko hata wanakuanga hata maybe matima zilipangi, wako na madeni. It's important that we get into these spaces if we want change. Understand what challenges ziko, and itakuwa easier for us to even chart a new direction mali tunaweza taka sport iende. Yes.
Umeongelea vitu very important, and I believe whoever wants change lazima akue visible in terms of the areas that they want to see the change.
Yes.
Now, one thing, do you think whatever any space given, let's say for example the podcast, and it's really like you're just making noise,
TV interviews
and all that, do you think this space itasaidia ku change people's mindset and the way they think in terms of now the sport itself?
Yes, and as I've said, I'd want those conversations to be based on knowledge as opposed to emotion. I don't know if naweza kuja hapa nikubambe nikwambie KHU waishie nini, but I do not understand. Ukiuliza wanaishia kwa nini, ama ukiniuliza chairman amefail aje, I do not know, because I have not gone and read what is his mandate. Maybe mandate yake amepitisha, unaona. I'm not pro KHU, so, but I'm just saying I'd want this is it activism or this demand for change to be knowledge based and to be specific about the things we want. If it's in that constitution, we know this I want A and B. But most importantly is to encourage people to be part of the union, because the Sports Act allows counties to sit in the council, or county officials. Things like professional bodies, I have seen umpires union in Kenya, they sit in the council. There is no players association. Why haven't you registered a players association? You see, I want us to understand the channels that are available for us to sit on that table, and maybe, if not question, maybe be part of the change that we want. Otherwise, if we keep complaining from outside, and I hope I'm not starting to talk like them, if we keep complaining from outside, we might not have a very big impact. Yes.
So Didge, you've really educated us in as much as we've gotten to know you. You've given us some very strong insights. So we as we come to the end of this conversation, I think we'll have some rapid questions for you, like some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Like, so the first one, like, I'll ask, like, would you go for, like, if it comes to maybe giving out like your equipment, like for maybe in a tournament, maybe will you give out maybe a whistle or a clipboard?
A whistle.
A whistle.
Yes.
Why a whistle?
It's more versatile, can be used by umpires, can be used by coaches. Yes, and you need one whistle for two teams
To control the...
Yes.
Turf or grass? Turf or grass?
Tough, of course.
Any day. Like for your team.
Standard hockey surface. We only play on grass because we don't have turf.
Of course, even if we could have maybe msanii anaimba akona dream collabo yake. So for you, Didge, what's your dream collabo? Like Didge Plus?
Wow.
Do you prefer a musician, an artist, or a drummist, or you tell us?
Or somebody who can help you, like
spoken word.
Yes.
Do I need to mention a name or?
Any maybe an artist, maybe there's this brand that you really want to collab with.
I have a bad voice, so I don't think I would sing.
Maybe a brand.
Fascination for instruments, but I do not know how to play. So I'd be fascinated. I'd want to work with a guitarist.
A guitarist.
Yes.
And
but I don't know how I'd participate.
And for another brand.
For what's the question?
Like Didge Plus, like a collaboration. Yes.
Samido. Yes, I'm Kikuyu. I love Kikuyu music, so Samido would be a good collaboration.
Apart from music, yes. Like apart from music, maybe like another brand, like you could collab with, then come up with something big. Your dream collab.
Let's say a brand that you wish to work with.
Yes.
As Didge Sports.
Yes. As Didge Sports.
Wow. Oh, this is tricky. I want to work with a rugby team.
A rugby team. Kenya Sevens rugby team.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's great.
You prefer evening workout or morning workout?
Not that I'm good at both, but whenever I work out in the morning, I feel it gives you a certain structure. I wish I could be consistent, but I'd prefer my workout.
Most worn item in your wardrobe. Ignite
Ignite your passion.
Ignite your passion.
Yes.
What does brand alignment in sports look like to you?
Brand alignment to sports. As I've said, trying to align, to pair your brand vision with athletes or institutions that look like they enhance that vision. Yes.
Then if you were to give out a message to any athlete who feels stuck or overlooked, ungewambia nini?
Ingekuwa rahisi tungefanya wote. So those are the challenges that make that victory sweet. Or rather, tungekuwa wanoma wote, but because for you to kuwa mnoma, there's the challenge of the work you need to put in. There's also the work of criticism, especially before people might not see what is in your mind. So keep going, keep working hard, keep putting in the work, and keep learning. Get the information that is required. If it is, get proper training routine, get proper nutrition. Na utafika.
Didge, this is something that is it could be less important, but to me it's very important. We have this athlete that is stuck or feels like he's overlooked. What's this one message that you could give to this athlete?
Overlooked by a coach?
Maybe they feel like they are not embraced. They feel like they're overlooked. They feel like they can't make it. What's this?
Mchezaji mwenye anaweza mshindia game. Okay.
Mina believe kitu moja. The message is already ignite your passion.
Yes.
Ignite your passion. Yani, if you feel like there's a fire burning inside you,
yes,
express it. That's the one thing that will keep you running and will keep you focused on
and to also
as a coach,
self-awareness to know the things I can do the things I cannot, and to better the things I can do. And because we cannot all be drug flickers, we cannot all be goal scorers, we might not. So to know the things I can do, these are my strengths. Try and raise the threshold for your weaknesses and work on your strengths. And sometimes it's also good to have conversations with your coach to understand his requirements, to understand maybe why you're not making it. It's important, and to take that feedback, take it positively and work hard. I don't think there's a coach mwenye anaweza weka mchezaji mwenye anaweza mshindia game kwa bench. So you keep I know sometimes the process is not very good. It's not very pleasant, the process, but keep trusting the process if you know where you want to go.
Now that you're into branding now, I'm so sure you have your own ambitions and drive that it could keep on track for the longest period of time possible. Nini unaweza taka ifanyike ama ifanywe so that at least it keep your brand for the longest time possible?
Nini unaweza taka ifanyike from
your own perspective?
As I said, because we are dealing with products, I hope the industrial production spaces in Kenya and Africa can grow into sports manufacturing. That would be great, because now our products would even be cheaper because we cut the charges on shipping. So there's a lot to do with the production and the industrial spaces in Africa to change and to be supportive of sports equipment production.
You've talked about productivity and marketing as a brand, and I believe there's one thing I'm sure you're a philosopher. Before we finish this segment, kuna vile si ufanya and sitaki tuwache segment iishie hapa. Tutaka tukue na a continuation of this process, and I would really want you to probably give us a quote that will sustain our viewers for the longest time possible. Then utupe someone mwenye una feel anatakana kuja kwa hii podcast, ama utuambie whoever you feel like anaweza taka kwa hii podcast next.
First of all, there's a first question.
The quote.
The quote. Parting shot. I would say, and I've said it before, is to simply be and appreciate being. We are all unique in our own ways. It's very important that you keep working on yourself, not on the skill, but on yourself. Yes, because if you are a happy person, you'll be a happy coach, you'll be a happy umpire, you'll be a happy player. If you're an angry person, you'll be, whether you're an accountant, you'll be an angry accountant, you'll be an angry umpire, you'll be an angry coach. You've gone to offices where maybe there are two secretaries, but the way you experience the two of them is different because of who they are. As Oprah Winfrey would put it, that you are being comes before you are doing it. So it's very important to keep working on you. Just be you, appreciate being you, and keep working on being a better you. Not just being not being good at hockey, just being good at hockey or being good at being an accountant, but to be
the best version of yourself.
The best version of human as you can be. That's why kwa game una experience umpires tofauti. Huyu unaweza muuliza, huyu atakupea kadi because of who they are.
Exactly.
Yes, so then there was the last question.
Nani unaweza taka kuja kwa hii segment next?
Ni na feel ni kama KHU anatajangwa sana kwa hii hockey. Kama wangetuma mtu mmoja wao akuja atuambie shida iko wapi. Maybe tunaweza bridge your gap. Maybe hata wanaona shida ni sisi. Ni vizuri kama mnaweza pata maybe after election ama before election kama mnaweza pata msee wa union. Mkwetu na yeye a candid conversation like we just had, it will be very good. Maybe it's the therapy as hockey players we need to bridge that gap, basically get us to understand and to also get us to know where we can support. Maybe they see they're expecting us to support, but we do not know, because I feel there's that gap. So ukipata mtu wa KHU president naweza tuma akuje hapa, itakuwa poa mkwe na such a conversation, because I think it demystify a lot of misunderstanding.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your effort, Didge, and the whole of this conversation, you're not going to take it for granted, and I'm so sure you're going to improve in terms of now our conversation, so that at least whoever we're going to host here as our next guest, a candid conversation, so that at least we enlighten people in terms of what we're doing, and at least the sport itself, and at least we want to see a certain level of improvement in terms of this sport as an.
So I want to appreciate also. I know I talked to him, I think in May.
Yes, in May. Yes.
That's like 2 months.
Mid-July.
I like
and it's actually mid-July.
I want you to be the voice, to give people a platform to tell their stories. There are so many inspiring stories out here. To be a vessel of bridging the gap I'm talking about. So whatever you're doing, it doesn't have to be perfect at start, but keep improving, keep going. You might not know how many lives or how the impact you might have, but from where I sit, I think it's a good thing. So keep going. The most important part was to start. You started. I've watched a few of your episodes, so from me is appreciation to also be considered to be invited here. And to encourage you to keep going.
Thank you so much. Before you leave this episode, unaweza tuambia where we can reach you, your social spaces, and probably your where you can market your product, because I'm actually seeing you actually uko na product ziko fit sana, and niko mbele kitu moja hii ndio nimeshikilia hivi hisi actually
before end of the season. I think pia na ujamii ufunga magame karibu zote, so lazima celebrations zangu saisi sionekani na stick nyingine, lazima niko na Didge.
Brand tuko hapa juu yenu. And as you've seen, we are trying to work with design na suke.
Yeah.
I have other players who've given their ideas into the brand, and I like that we are owning the brand because it is our own brand. What was the question?
Your social spaces.
On social media, my name is Ndung'u Njogu. So I've used that handle on Twitter. I'm not very active on Twitter. On Instagram, Ndung'u Njogu. I do not have Facebook. Used to have, and then I
disable.
I do not have personal TikTok. But now for the brand, Didge Sports, it's at Didge Sports. So on Instagram at Didge Sports, on TikTok at Didge Sports, on Twitter at Didge Sports. Same spelling. And also for email is info@didgesports.com. My email is also ndung'unjogu@didgesports.com.
Wow, we had a very open conversation with Didge, and make sure you follow us on our social spaces. OffPitch Podcast on Instagram, OffPitch Podcast on Facebook, and OffPitch Podcast on YouTube, and TikTok as well.